is one of France's biggest movie stars. He had a 6-decade career. Now, here are just some of the awards he's won. Over those decades, he won a César Award, that's the equivalent in France of an Oscar, a Cannes, Palme d'Or, that's one of the top prizes at the world's biggest film festival, an honorary Golden Bear at Berlin, as well as a Legion of Honor, another iconic award to win in France. Now, his career really took off in the 60s during what was called the New Wave movement, which was really the resurgence, like post-war, of France's cinema industry. Now, as the last report mentioned, his films included the likes of Plein Soleil, Rocco and his brothers, and I think his most acclaimed ones would have to be La Piscine or the Swimming Pool. That was actually adapted in recent years into a film starring Tilda Swinton, as well as Le Samouraï. Now, that really had quite an impact on many of the world's top filmmakers, including Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. Now, what kind of linked all his roles were he often played policemen or hitmen or these really kind of charming chancers, because he really played on his good looks and charm in most of his films. Now, he's worked with some of the most iconic directors in cinema, such as Louis Malle, Jean-Luc Godard, and Antonioni. Now, he actually retired from acting in 1997, and despite being admired by, Scorsese, Tarantino, as well as Leonardo DiCaprio, saying that he was one of the coolest actors in the history of cinema, he actually never made it in Hollywood.
Jenny, tell us a bit more about his personal life. It was colourful, to say the least, perhaps more controversial.
That's right. Very colourful, very controversial. Now, you could say he was a bit of a playboy in the day. He had many different relationships with actresses such as Mireille d'Arc, Nathalie Delon, as well as quite early on in his career with the iconic actress Romy Schneider. Now, he actually said in recent years that she was the real love of his life, that he actually regretted having not married her. Now, in more complicated legal matters, he was involved in something called the Markovic affair in 1968. Now, that was after Delon's bodyguard was found dead, and there were many conspiracies around his death, such as involving the criminal underworld, as well as the then presidential candidate George Pompidou. So all very mysterious. We never really found out what happened with that. Now, actually, this year, he had more controversy, legal controversy. His home was actually raided, and police seized 72 firearms and 3,000 rounds of ammunition, and he was actually not allowed to have any of those. So hopefully he'll be remembered for his illustrious film career and not for these kind of complicated legal matters.